Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Showdown Series Summer Clash. It's finally here. It's finally time to get ourselves some broadcasted games for this tournament. For those of you that are new here, welcome on into the Showdown Series. This is the continuation of the tournament that I started at university. No, wrong direction. The little... I can get that right. There you go, the one right behind me where we had the LAN earlier this year back in May. If you were here for that, plenty more information on that one. Head to the description down below on the channel. There's information there, website with all of the up-to-date stuff and all of that stuff that you need to know on here. But what is most important is the game we've got here and now for you. The Summer Clash is our first go at a longer league, more format style of things where we're running games over a period of time. We've got the whole summer to play through them. We're going approaching towards our final week of group stages now, our round robin, and things are going to have to get really incredibly spicy for it. Hopefully we're going to have some fun games. Hopefully we're going to have some great times. So we've got a best of one coming your way tonight. But before we get into it, let's have a look at the standings. Let's see exactly how teams have been faring on so forth and what exactly things have been looking like. So what we have got is our current standings. We've got the Goon Squad up at the top there. 9 out of 9 possible points there. Dominating every single game they've played. 7-1, 7-2, 7-3 are their results. Incredibly dominant performance, incredibly great showing from them, and a really, really good way of going at things. Just in second place, 16CharacterLimit. You may be looking at this and going, why have they got less points? But ahead, quantity of games played is our primary tiebreak here above of points, just to encourage the teams to play a little bit more. So the teams that are playing more are rewarding, even if they're not losing. However, all games have been scheduled, so that will be null and void by the end of the week, really. Coming in third place, Backdoor Breachers, our champions from the Showdown Series Invitational, our LAN a couple of months ago. They're back, they got 3 full points out of their first game last night, and they've got plenty more games coming up, and they're looking for more. Bottom fourth place, you've got Super Subs, our team built of mostly substitute players. Incredible side with a lot of volatility to them, and definitely an upset team to watch out for. And then in 5th place at the bottom, you've got Geronimo, who hopefully after tonight, they're not going to be staying there. They're going to be getting out of there, and hopefully they're going to be jumping themselves up in the standings just a little bit. So speaking of the team, speaking of Geronimo, how about we take a look at them and see exactly what they've got to offer. So Alfie, man in the myth, the legend in the middle there, Cat with Gat. He is the leader of Geronimo from the Showdown Series Invitational, bringing an entirely new roster up to the front of things here. Entirely new stack of players here. Try and see if they can get a bit of redemption for that SSI performance, because while the first map Clubhouse was close, Ladder 2 maps were a bit of a beatdown, a 7-1, a 7-3. It was not close, it was not competitive. And Alfie, he's looking for a little bit of redemption here, and maybe this new stack are going to have the answers that he's looking for over on the other side of things. So we've got a little bit of a wild card. We've got 16CharacterLimit, a team of players, well, Margie, Hyper, and Ember, they all live together. They are 3 players that all live in the same house with one another. Ghoulie and Fanball takes the exact same, can be said. For those who want to live together, they are IRL friends. So you've got kind of 2 groups coming together to really see what they can throw to the table. They played Backdoor Breachers yesterday in a really close game. 7-5 was the scoreline for that one, and it was an incredibly great game to watch. It was a 5-1 down at the half. It was looking a bit rocky for 16CharacterLimit. They almost clawed it into an overtime, but just at that final 12th round of regulation, things slipped away from them a little bit, unfortunately. But hopefully different things are going to be happening for them. They're going to get some points on the board. that is what it's all about here, really starting to separate yourselves from that bottom, because as you say, you look back at the standings here, the reason why that 5th place team is greyed out, currently Geronimo, is because that bottom place team, they are eliminated. They will not be progressing on to playoffs. So it's a battle for survival here in this stage. So let's have a look at the map pool. This is going to be the important one here. We're playing on the competitive map pool here in the Summer Clash. For a lot of these players, it's their first time really experiencing it, and a map veto, because most of these players, they're either new or they're silver. They're not competitive players. Would like to sort of put that as a big disclaimer on the front of that one. So for them, this is, of course, a very interesting pool, very interesting set of games, and hopefully it's going to be quite a banger of a series here. And I'm looking at this one. Geronimo, from Alfie's leadership here, struggling with SSI. They struggled with the newer map. They struggled with Nighthaven. They struggled with Lair. They were strongest on the tried and true and tested Clubhouse. Issue being, though, is one of the players over on the side of 16 character limit, of course, being Ghoulie, they were the observer of that SSI match. They watched all of that action unfold, which gives a little bit of an information advantage there on the team of knowing exactly how Alfie might play and possibly looking to steer the map veto that way towards Alfie's disadvantages. So, speaking of, let's take a look at the map vetoes and see where we're going to be heading ourselves here for this best of one. 16 character limit, they've gone into this one with a clear game plan in mind. Ban out the default maps, get rid of all of your standards, get rid of your chalet, get rid of your clubhouse, and force Geronimo to make a really uncomfortable decision at the end there. You've got to pick between Skyscraper, you've got to pick between Consulate, and you don't know how it's going to go. So it's going to hopefully be a really interesting map between these two. And as well, double benefit for 16 character is they are going to be starting on the defense. They are going to be starting on that stronger side on Consulate. They're going to be able to get the ball rolling really quickly. And hopefully for themselves, they should be able to get a good game going. Because as I say, it's all about the points. It's all about the standings. As you can see, it's going to be a very interesting one. Geronimo need to get themselves out of that bottom point for the side of 16 character limit. It's how high can they go to the top? And well, we're going to be going to Consulate. We're going to be getting ready to find out. Things are going to be getting underway for you folks in just a couple of seconds. So will Consulate have the answers that 16 character limit are going to be looking for? Will Geronimo be able to escape the bottom? Well, it's a best of one. Straight shootout for it to get to the top, to get out of that deadly elimination point here. Well, there's only 7 rounds that separate them, so no point stalling it, no point leaving it longer than it needs to be. Let's get ourselves into the game. This is the other thing as well. I can tell you now, I'll leak it now, the game has started and no one can really adjust anything from it, is 16 character limit. They have done a lot of prep for this game, a lot of discussion, a lot of strategy talking out earlier on, and it was really not only interesting to see that sort of develop, but it was also quite fun to watch it go through, and whether that's going to translate into the game here, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, first few operator bands come through, a Thatcher and a Mirror, nothing too out of the ordinary here, but we look towards this defensive side of 16 character, and they're getting rid of Deimos. Pick that a lot of the players on Geronimo, Wingdings especially, King as well, that being Joe Taco, really like to play on, really like to go through. What's other an interesting one is Alfie, loves to play Glaz. He's locked onto it immediately, having survived the ban phase as we head up to second floor for our first go of it. 16 character limit now. Gonna have to lock in, gonna have to start off strong because this is where they were weakest yesterday. Things were good, things were working for 16 character, but it only started to click in the second half of the game. That first half of the game was a little bit of a beatdown, was a little bit of an issue. There was obviously that, a little bit of a beatdown at the start, that 5-1 start to things, which was a big problem, which was an issue for 16 character. And if they had got one more round in that first attacking half on club, they could have gotten the game across the line. They could have been the ones to make that difference. So we'll have to see whether here, over in this second go, whether things are going to change for them. And obviously they get the advantage of, they played yesterday. They're warmed up, they're ready, and all of our teams, they have quite a stacked week ahead of them. We've got 6 games scheduled for this week, so quite a wide variety from our players and our teams. And, well, warming up is going to be providing an advantage to the sides. So, top floor defense, looking quite trap-heavy on the lineup of 16 character limit. Doing a lot of what worked against BDB yesterday. Relying on intel, relying on traps, funneling them in with those castle barricades. It's a good way to play this one. Looking at the lineup of Geronimo, though, it's a little bit wild. It's a little bit all over the place, dare I say. Got the fuse. Bit of extra utility there. looking to do some backstabs and some stealth plays, as well as Alfie on the glass to see what things go. Avery on a tried and true to KB pick of that operator always tends to get locked on in, so let's see what they do. Let's see how they want to attack. Immediately seems like it's going to be Ember here, facing up on the front line here. Close up, catches the Nook off guard, misses the shot Stowe, can't quite get it onto Cocktail, however, has the C4 in hand, lobs it on out and able to take down King with it. Death, beautiful shutdown there of the fuse earlier on. That's the shield taken off the board there for Geronimo, and Ember play that one to perfection, can just run away, go back to the objective and hide. Job's been done now for the Rome of 16 character. Play these power positions, play it slow, and Geronimo, they've got a lot of work to do, and slightly beat up Nook and a dead fuse to show for it so far. Good start to the round right now for the defense, but early days yet. Geronimo, they know about this player, need to get this castle barricade dealt with here. Alfie's going to do just exactly that there with the frag grenade, but the issue is, and something we've seen from Geronimo before, is where does this pressure come from? Someone needs to get in, someone needs to be the difference maker, someone needs to stall it out and get things going, get players in there. Never normally quite a spearhead for this team, and this is the thing, we're a minute into the round here, and they tried to make an early entry through Visa, got immediately denied out of it, and now we're back onto the roof here, waiting for things to happen, unable to get walls open because of mute jammers. So alternative means going to need to be considered here for the attack inside, but the longer we wait, the more time's just ticking away, and more comfortable, no doubt. 16 character going to be feeling with this one. Comes the breach now from Wingdings. Right there in copy. No one on towards the admin side here, but you do have to be mindful of Ember, who is playing on that Valkyrie, tucked behind Bending, just waiting for anyone to creep across. Bam not far behind. The only thing with this castle barricade is you don't really have the support from your team, but I don't think you can need it. Nathan gets one, immediately traded back by Cocktail there, but Ember's got the read onto the players coming up through the staircase here. If Alfie walks forwards, he is essentially a dead man. Wingding's not playing too far away either. The question is, are they at all aware of this Valkyrie? No, they're not. Springs out, shuts down one. Ember looking to try and find another here. Can't quite find it. Alfie is good for the trade, but with Cocktail going down to an EDD, it puts Alfie now on the glass, on his favourite operator in a 1 versus 3 situation. Members of 16 character, they're dislodged, they're isolated. He could try and look to isolate the 1v1s here, but got to be careful not to fall prey to the Capcan traps, and in doing so, getting rid of them gives his position away. Clocks are ticking, 25 seconds left to go. Reviving, essentially not an option at this point. The read has been given by 16 character. They swing out, find one. He's going to be able to down the second as well. Leaves it all up to Slasher here to try and hold on to the round now. It's 1 versus 2, but that's the issue. Cocktail's giving the intel away, but it doesn't matter. Slasher finds it, clutches up the 1 versus 2, and 16 character get a little bit over-eager, get a little bit excited, but they do hold on to round number 1 and will find themselves with an early lead here on Consulate. So, round number 2 now. Going to be back down to the basement for the defense here. Going to be keeping very similar lineup to what we've seen from them before. Nothing different, really, all things considered. I think we are really seeing is Bandit, of course, being brought along. Those essential walls on here. The front breach going to be a tricky one to get open for the side of Geronimo, and Bandit certainly going to make sure that's the case. But
attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Aid off the board, it's the only option. Geronimo, they're going to be going for a very similar looking attacking lineup here. King swapped on towards the iron, which handy pick to have there, because what that allows you to do is feed off the information there. And when Geronimo start to push on that aggression, 16 character get a bit over aggressive, as we do see from them quite frequently. You know, that's the one thing I can really take from watching them these last couple of weeks is overswinging is a common problem with this team. Sometimes they swing things when they're not meant to. Slow it down, breathe, let them come to you, because there's to go for it, especially in a situation like that where 4 versus 2 almost goes awry, and saw it cost them against BDB yesterday. But of course, only hypotheticals here in round number 2. Well, that's going to be practical now, as Geronimo look to make the same entry in towards the building here from Visa's side yet again. Luckily though, playing it this time, so should be an easier entry in towards the objective. A lot of the Visa-sided hatches have been left soft as well, so pop them open with the DMR. Should be a nice, easy drop there over on the side of Geronimo, if that's the way they wish to go. But Whereas I think first and foremost, it is going to be getting this basement sided open here, trying to get this wall through, and really, they've got the right idea. Going to be playing it with the bandit. Try and trick, are aware of the drone and the spot out. Key thing is here, the wall left above, it's been left soft, so be able to. Well, the issue as well is, we're only working with 2 EMPs here. Only got a couple from Avery. The first one's going to go. It's going to be a bit too high. Misses both the batteries. You need to throw it down low, but you need to be careful because this is your only EMP. It's going to be thrown. It's going to miss the second one, and a bit of a faux pas on the wall here for the side of Geronimo, as there's no way they're getting in now. Could try and look to use the frag grenades on King, open up the soft wall above, but don't think they know that is soft. I don't think they realise that's an option, and speaking of options, now we have to look towards the backside of things here for Geronimo. They need to find their way in. Alfie caught in an early engagement here in towards Surface, does a lot of damage on towards Slasher. Cocktail now coming in for their flank to try and look them through. They do have the red ping, but aggression punished them beforehand, and possibly to do the same again. Geronimo need to move quickly as well. Ember playing up on Visa on the top floor here. Frag grenade's going to be thrown in towards Slasher, but not going to be able to do anything. Is Ember bait and make drop on down, but as the line scan comes on out, it's going to be paused momentarily, giving Cocktail the perfect cue to move on forwards, but right into a cap can trap. Not the play you want to do, but that is the one you do want to see. Alfie's able to take down Slasher there. Man advantage for the round at least starts in the favour of Geronimo, but are they aware of this flank? No, it doesn't seem so. Alfie's on a tear, but it doesn't matter because Ember's behind them. Got one, able to find the second on it as well. Levels things right back out. 3 versus 3. All things are even right now. 55 seconds left to go. King forced back by that Fawn trap, and Geronimo, they're now funneled him through, and it's prime play for Ghoulie here, who can sit close to this yellow position. Gas pipe still there, as well as the C4 in back pocket. Exothermic not even going to be able to get the breach open there. Hatch being soft, rarity. We see that one working in favour of the defence being soft, but that means no breaches are going to be open. Very limited options right now for Geronimo. Limited time as well. 30 seconds on the clock. King looking to try and find a way in here through yellow, but Wingding's too far away. Up on Spiral, they need to push in, they need to do it now, but I fear the reads in here from the side of Geronimo. They know what's coming. 16 character are more than happy to play this game. Final 15 seconds of the round now, and for the attack, it's just run in, try and get these kills, but Ember's on a triple. Storm on in here, Fam gets one, Goody cleans up the other, and 16 character limit here, starting to build up a bit of momentum on Consulate. 2 quick rounds, very good showing, and this is where I think the information is being very much fed through here for 16 character. They're aware that the players of Geronimo can be quite slow, can lack an aggressive side, and 16 character we see a much more reserved game from them today, and that is exactly what is making them successful right now. They're not giving away things to Geronimo. In SSI, Alfie's game plan was very much reliant on Sam, Connor getting aggressive, those BDB players over-swinging, over-exaggerating their movements, getting too confident. And one of our players have had to go for dinner. One of our players, and more unfortunately, it's on the side of Geronimo. But I believe the mentality is they're just going to have to stonk through the 4 versus 5. They're just going to have to play it in mentality.
To locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
But I think the mentality there from Geronimo is pretty clear. They will not be forfeiting this one. They will be powering on through, as will 16 character limit, as they move towards their tertiary bomb site now, as we head into Piano. A new lineup here from the side of the defense, and shaking things up entirely. Still relying on the traps, but the Fenrir Legion has come out to play, and Bournemouth Witch, very nice wolf headgear. Do like to see that one. Site set up well.
10 seconds to
Out of the ordinary. Little box there. Forced.
5 seconds to insertion.
Geronimo. Question of see what works and see how all goes, but now let things go. Entry in towards the building now from the side of Geronimo. Alfie going to be droning on in, and Cocktail and Avery going to be leading this charge, but a moment of hesitation, a moment of cautiousness. They're playing a player down here about King, who is historically one of their good performers. AFK and Spawn for the duration of the round. An uphill battle here for the side of Geronimo. Character. They're just going to play comfortable close to site here, and you can see it from the team. 4 players playing really nice well-reserved game, and then you've just got Ember lurking upstairs, ready to play this position down into Visa. As you say, he knows this is what the game is. He knows this is the plan right now from 16 character, or from Geronimo rather. He can just play patient, play slow. Red ping's being fed through as well, even more information. And for Ember, it's a question of, do you want to go for aggression? Do you want to try and find it? Or do you just want to wait a little bit later into the round to pull that backstab? Because side of Geronimo, I don't think they have any idea that one's going to be coming, and that's exactly the problem. Ember there, able to take down Alfie, the top performer so far for the side of Geronimo. Only 1 kill between the other 4 players, and now they're going to have to look to pick up the pieces of this round here. With Captain off the board, you can choose, you go for sight, or do you try and deal with that X factor up above? But Ember doesn't done. Instead, he's just going to run back on down. Slasher as well, looking play it. Geronimo, they're stalled out right now. They have no way into this one. In a little bit of a predicament, a little bit puzzled. Crash talk starts to rain on through. Geronimo, yet again, just stalling out. There's just nothing going for them right now. This could be an age documentary here for David Attenborough. Need someone like Cocktail right now to get in and play aggressive, but with frag grenades all burnt out, your only options are breaching charges, but he's on the fuse and he's AFK in spawn. There's nothing that Geronimo can do right now to get in towards the objective, and they're just going to funnel themselves on in. Scrappy Jewel Avery is able to trade back out there for Slasher on the top floor, so it's at least one going back the way of Geronimo, but the Nook, she's supposed to be sneaky, knocking on a castle barricade. Well, anything but that. Avery up on the top floor here, sliver of HP. Boschy, SMG 12 in hand, but you need to be careful of those goo mines, you need to be careful of those traps, because one of those, and he's done and dusted for. Still 16 character. They can just play slow. Logic Bomb's going to happen and come on through as Cocktail, no choice yet again but to try and push him towards the objective. Avery looking to sprint downstairs from above, going to spray through, almost close, almost finds the player, but actually goes back the other way and finds it. Avery down, that is most certainly the round gone with it. A 16 character limit. Take up the 3-0 lead there. They bring themselves up the first quarter of the game. Looking incredibly strong for the side of 16. Incredibly strong for the side of 16 character limit right now. What a game, what a showing from them. Was hoping this would be a little bit of dominance. This would be a little bit of a close showing between these two sides. Obviously, unfortunate for Geronimo that they've had to have a player dip, but even on the rounds where they've had the full 5, there's a lack of teeth being shown. There's a lack of aggression. There's a lack of commitment, and that is punishing them. 16 character, they've read the game well. They've watched the VODs. They've read the homework. They know what to play, and its level of commitment, its level of play, and it's, you know, obviously this is the thing with our Showdown series is it's not, the level of commitment is up and down across the board, and not in a good way, not in a bad way. Some of these players, a lot of them are newer to the game, do not play Siege frequently, have not played Siege in years, versus you've got some of our players in here, you know, such as Alfie, who just team captained one of our lands, Ghoulie, who was there observing, Fan Vortex playing in them, Wingdings, who plays quite frequently as well. There's an entire mix of levels of teams and commitment here, and this is going to be what's separating the teams as we go further in this tournament. The teams that do commit, do their homework, even if it's just 1 or 2 players, like it was 16 character, mainly Ghoulie and Ember, sort of leading a conversation between the teams saying, hey, let's throw them to an off map, let's throw them to a new map, let's give them something that they're not going to be able to just rely on their old tricks with. That kind of homework, it's done a number here, because, you know, if this continues going the way it's going, I would very much argue that 16 character limit won this game before it even started. They won it in the map veto, taking Geronimo to a map they're uncomfortable on. As we saw at SSI, it's unsettled them entirely. It is very much unsettled. And
Bomb located by attackers.
okay, oh dear.
10 seconds to go.
Unfortunately, frustration seeming to sleep on through here. There's a bit of tormenting here.
Attackers objective.
Rain from Slasher going across, and oh, look at this, here comes King. King has returned to the fold. King is back. That was a very quick dinner. More curious to know what he had, but I'm more curious to know what Wingdings has going here. Storm straight in towards break here with the Amaru, close towards the objective, and 16 character have any idea That the Amaru is so close to the door. The thing is, shock and awe is the key with her. You've got to go fast, you've got to go quick, because the more you stall, the more you give your position away. You're on your own, you're isolated. There is no backup here, but the backup, well, their backup's been sent away there. Rain takes down Shrimp there. They're going to be shut on down, and the Blitz taken off the board here. Wingding's going to be stalling on out to go on the drone, go for a hunt, but that just means that 16 character are losing that edge yet again, and, well, they're going to lose Slasher. Avery does go down, trades blows for blows back and forth, but leaves Diffuser cold in checkers. Geronimo in man disadvantage. And the game plan has been read into by the defense. They know what to expect. They know what's coming. Wingdings gets caught in an engagement here, tucked in a difficult position. C4 from Ember's going to get ripped, going to get thrown. Not quite going to find its mark, but he's going to swing out, get punished for it. Bit over-aggressive there, loses the gunfight. The question is, does Wingdings know about the player coming up? No, he does not. And Nathan's able to claim the gunfight, shuts him on down. 2 versus 3 situation. Man advantage being held onto here by the side of 16 character limit. And these 2 remaining Geronimo players, they're split. They're on an island from one another. They need to great need to recover. King yet to get a kill. Didn't play the previous round, so now's the time for redemption to apologise for the wrongs of the last one. Come up spiral, do a backstab shut on in. Alfie trying to hold the long angle here. Firing above, sees the head clean, but no. Marky's good for the shots there. Takes the sniper down. Leaving Orel King in a 1 versus 3 situation. 75 seconds on the clock. Time to play with here. But you need to isolate. You've not got any thrown utility. You've got a couple cluster charges to work with. And you've got a cold diffuser to recover as well. King right back into the fold here. Now, just need to try and come back alive into this game. Fully fed, fully restored, up to full energy levels now. But the question is it going to be enough for this one? King moving on in now. 16 character limit. I think unaware slightly that there is another player still lurking. Going to see one, but not able to find anything. Ghoulie shuts him down, and 16 character. I don't think that's fair. I don't think I could just say, yeah, he's AFK. I somehow don't think that's allowed. As much as I would love to give a round to Geronimo and see a close game on stream right now, homework's been done. 16 character limit. Looking great, and this is the thing, and this is the other issue, is that I feel bad right now because the streamed games are going to hurt you more. Reason being these streamed games are going to hurt so much are going to be that because they're slower paced, we get to sit here and do a lot of yapping. We get to sit here and, you know, do a lot of analysing. Well, there's not too much to analyse, I'll fully admit. I could see who's watching this right now. I can see that all of you who are typically, you know, on other teams who are watching this, backdoor breachers, I can see them in chat right now. They're watching this game. They're paying attention to this. They're learning from their opponents and just giving free advice. So stream games, womp disadvantage. Sorry, folks, but BDB do have a streamed game tomorrow. And if I'm not mistaken, that is against the side of Geronimo, so they're just feeding information through, and Geronimo have one day to right the wrongs, because if they've been listening, I've basically just exposed how to beat them. And obviously that one is the rematch. That's going to be the grudge match from SSI. Obviously, I know Geronimo has mostly been redone, but that one tomorrow, same time tomorrow, around 10 PM BST. Do come along. It's going to be an absolute barn burner. Hopefully a little bit closer than this one. Right now, been a very one-sided affair so far, and Consulate, but penultimate round and a half coming on in. Geronimo backed up by the Master Chief as someone for a rain. I don't even want to know how that happened. Was that a self-C? That had to have been a self-C4. I'm going to assume that was a self-C4. Regardless of, Avery's made her way up to the top floor here, supported by Wingdings. They made the drop. They want to continue the aggression. Nathan going to be on the forefront of it here. Knows it's coming. Much more reserved from 16 character limit this time. Ember's not on a roam. Ember is playing closer to the objective here. Tucked in electrical. Hoping for a bit of sloppy drone work here from the offensive side, which, well, may just be what they're treated to. Alfie makes the first picket around here, shuts on down, charges on towards, takes Nathan, but yet again they're unaware of Ember, and he's able to capitalise upon it here, takes down Alfie, can now start to spring into action, finds the drone, here's the blitz, sees the shield charging across, can they able to find Cocktail, does have a C4 though, so going to throw that one on down, does it hit the mark? Yes it does, sends them flying away. Wingdings is able to pick one back up elsewhere though, but for Geronimo, King, who's quite isolated close towards the objective right now, remaining 2 players on the top floor, King could look to try and make something happen here. Good position to do so, catches one off guard, but no, a direct trade with Ember there. Another triple in the round for the captain of 16 Character. And now, with Marky going down, it's all up to Ghoulie now. 1 versus 2 situation. Geronimo, this is the advantage they hold. The first time they've had a man advantage in a late round position for a while. But Intel's being fed through here. The Valkyrie camera's working on through. They know about the one. Got to sway out down Wingdings as well. And that just leaves it all up to Avery here in the 1 versus 1. Ghoulie has the C4, has the knowledge, going to drop him down. Here's the Nook fall. There's there Nate's catches Avery looking the wrong way. Beautiful 1 versus 2 played from Ghoulie there as 16 character limit take their 5th round. 5-0 lead right now. Geronimo, even when they have the advantage, yet again, individual unable to capitalise upon it. 16 character looking incredibly good right now, and you know, their first game, 16 character, they played Goon Squad. It was a battering. That was the welcome. Yesterday was the training. Today is the proving grounds. This is where 16 Character Limit are going to really start to reinsert their state here, that they are a team on the up, because first game they played, there was a bit of potential there. There was a couple of rounds they got the 7-2. They did all right. A couple of the rounds were even close. Yesterday against BDB, it was a pretty fair shooting game between the two of them. A bit of a warmer start from 16 Character and overtime or a different result. Today against Geronimo, they're proving what they've learned. They're a team on the upwards trajectory. They're building that chemistry together. And I have to credit that to the situations of these players. As I mentioned earlier on, Rain, Margie, Ember, they are living together. The 3 of them are all in one place at the moment. And then as well, Fam and Ghoulie, they're 2 very long friends, went to university together. They're long-time friends, and once these 2 groups have really started to merge together, get to know each other a bit more, the chemistry's building, the strategy's building, and the results are starting to show. For Geronimo, it has been a while since their first game. I wouldn't write them off entirely, but there's work to do before tomorrow. A new map needs to come into the map pool, because right now, unless BDB want to try their shot on basics, things could be very, very risky, as okay, just drones before they even get in the building. Pops the Goon mine down, and this is another one of the interesting things. Obviously, Consulate is going to be getting reworked, or remastered next season, rather. But over already, we've had the beepers installed, both on the front doors and as well out towards Visa, and yet again, speaking of the ladder, a very, very common entry point. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the fact that Frost and Fremri are like flirting in my ears. That is very distracting in the middle of a comp game. I'm just like, what is going on in my ears? Is the voice comms leaking of the teams? I don't think so. But look at this, Geronimo being cautious the entryway because of that position played from Margie, and she's nowhere nearby. She's off on the other side of the map, but still, phantom pressure being applied, and they are going to realise the position's clear and move on through as Alfie towards the lobby now. Push directly into the objective here. Piano in a risky spot. Final round and a half. Spawn mine's going to be going off there. Shrimp down, pushed up and through. Not had the greatest time on the shield so far, so going to be relying on some of the other guns here. Gate going to be stopping the direct assault on through as shots being fired out by Ghoulie. Fam, not too far away either, looking to get aggressive, but Lion Scan's going to stop things momentarily, but speaking of, so is the Goo mine on the opposite. Double charge will indeed get that wall open. So, a little bit of an entryway has been made here for the side of Geronimo, but they need to start applying some pressure, throw something into the objective here, because, bam, look at how close he's playing the breach right now. More concerningly, look at this. Rain's coming from behind, able to shut down one, can't quite get the second, but that's where Nathan comes in, able to swing it, able to find it, cornered him in, boxed him in, and it's a shutdown from 16 Character Limit as the 2 final players of Geronimo have to try and pick up the pieces. Alfie, aware of one, is able to find a pick on towards Ember here, but Cocktail stuck in a rock and a hard place there on their own, out towards lobby. Need to back up, put together here, but no, not going to be able to do so. Caught by Ghoulie, trying to sprint away there, and it leaves Alfie in a 1 versus 3 situation. Does a little bit of damage onto Nathan, but What that's really going to do is give the position away. Intel's been fed. 16 character know where this final player of Geronimo is right now. They can do. Wait out this final minute and a half here. This final minute to deny the flawless for 16 character limit, who have looked nigh on unstoppable so far. As Alfie looks to crawl on up, does able to get one on towards Nathan here. Takes a lot of damage spraying, standing up behind the sofa. Anticipating the flank, but it's not going to be. Margie's looking to find it. Margie's going to find it with that. And 16 character limit, a flawless half. They just wanted the stream buff. That's what it is with this team, I think, with 16 character at the moment. They just decided, you know, we're not going to play the game until we're on stream, when we're being watched, when all eyes are on us. They show up to the mark, and a 6-0 half. Utter dominance here through the first few rounds of Consulate. And, well, as we say, that could be very, very damning here for the side of Geronimo, who currently... one round, one slip up on the defense, and that is going to be their game gone. They're 3 points bye-bye, and, you know, to reiterate, to look at the bracket from the bottom of this, from the start of today, you know, you have to wonder, you have to be concerned, because Geronimo, they're already in 5th place. They're already our bottom-seeded team at the moment. And while they are going to get a bump up for the number of games played, they need to start having some performances here, because right now, their head is on the chopping block, and they can't move it off it sooner or later, because this is the thing. This is their second game of 4 for Geronimo. 16 character, this is their third of 4. So, they're going to guarantee the points here. And obviously, this is the position 16 character did find themselves in yesterday, so, you know, not to be too disheartened by it. Way. But... at the scoreboard as well, Ember's 10-4 right now. Rest of the team on the side of Geronimo putting in a really, really good performance. Ghoulies 5-1 as well. Margie's putting in a great performance. Rain, Vortex doing the same. Over on the side of Geronimo, Alfie's really lifting up through things right now. Wingdings and King having a bit quiet games compared to usual, and I think really dragging the team down at the moment. You know, obviously have been struggling, have been getting caught on those individual spots, and just a really good read, a really good map veto from the side of 16 character limit. And this is the thing now. Previously, Dual Squad have been the only team really that can play a map veto. 16 character have done their homework, and they are looking like a contending team right now. You know, we were discussing yesterday whether it's the top 2 in this competition, whether BDB are going to be competing up there. 16 character keep on this upward trajectory. There's some competition here, and there is a possibility they could start to make things look worrisome for the couple teams that we're eyeing up to be at the top here. Of course, they're still very, very early, still soon days, but
10 seconds left before insertion.
right now, this Consulate looks like it's going to be an incredibly quick one, unless Geronimo have some magic to show in the defense, and here's where the clash comes in. Here is where who recently reworked can be a bit of a menace, and Cocktail has been playing the shield so far. Gonna look to do so. Yeah. Down below. I'll make the entry there into catering, but can't do so. But for this attack, Yellow's already been opened on up, an entryway in here for attack. Bathroom locked on through as well, and now shield meet shield. Cocktail's going to be giving the game away. They're spotted on through, but that just prompts a retreat right now. Character, they know they can just wait. It's a very anchor heavy lineup from Geronimo right now. Map control has been entirely forfeited, not even looking to be contested by the defensive team, and that's a lot of free reign given to the side of 16 character, who can now just look to capitalize upon this control and really pick their prime and ideal entry point. Speaking of which, it seems like it's going to be up here on the spiral staircase. Rain, Margie, going to be looking through. Caught up by Ghoulie now as well, but they need to be careful of Wingding. They look to swing out here, going to be able to find one, punishes the first. Montaigne does turn around, but he's in a rock and a hard place right now, and this is when Alfie springs into action, tries to push them back, and 16 character, they're falling apart, struggling to get some rounds, any kills across the line here. Ember does find one back, but immediately shut back down. Ghoulie, now 1 versus 4. We've seen a 1 versus 2 from them already today, but can they double it up here? Make it the 1 versus 4. Are able to take down Alfie there. Get the first of it. Also, have diffuser in back pocket, so it is one to work with, but you've got a strong road ahead of you, a tough one. Shield is going to be stacked against you, caught on the rappel. Are you aware of the one behind? Knocking on the door here from the bathroom. They know about the player yellow as well. It's a tough situation. Going to pop the Claymore. Being ready for it, but Winging's now looking to get aggressive, and D4 thrown by the Mozzie. Shot out there by Ghoulie. Geronimo, have a good read into this one. All they need to do is just not give this one away. Turn around from Ghoulie to 180. No way do you get away with that one. It's now 1 versus 2. Didn't win before. 7-1. But clock is ticking. 40 seconds left to go, and you've got a shield to go up against here. But so far this game, you've got the 2 quietest players on the side of Geronimo. Fight your way through. Not an insurmountable task here. You've just got to rely on them not getting over aggressive. The Clash is going to push up here. Going to take a lot of damage from the Claymore. Prompts the swing. Ghoulie's able to get it. Now could just go aggressive to try and find it. Can they pull off the 1 versus 4 situation? Clock's against you. All Cocktail can do is try and survive, try and hold on with time ticking on down. It's down to the wire. Very much down. Will the flawless game be pulled off here by the side of 16 character? Pistols coming out. Shots are getting messy. Cocktail looking to hold on. Will they deny the 1 versus 4? Looking to do so, and will indeed hold on for one last round. A valiant attempt there by the side of 16 character limit, but no, not gonna quite be. Cocktail, they hold on for the team, and Geronimo, they will come out of this one with at least 1 less bruise on their ego. At least it's not a flawless, but it worries me if a 1 versus 4 is getting that down to the wire. Heart is jumping right now for Geronimo. 1 round. 5 long more ones to come. Plenty of time, plenty of action here, and slip up again could be a problem. A slip up again could be deadly. Have to wait and see. Round number 8. Basement being forced out here by the defensive side as... oh, someone going to be disconnecting there as... over he pauses. We will have to hit the rehost. Have to hit the rehost button here on this one. And we will be back in a couple of minutes for you folks. And there we are, folks. Apologies for that little brief tech pause there. We had a player crash out, and then we had the Wi-Fi go, and we were talking about the LAN advantage for the side of 16 character limit. And, well, the LAN disadvantage is also true. Unfortunately, what happens with them is they all seem to be on a synchronized pee schedule. I can't believe I'm leaking this, discussing this on stream. They all seem to need to pee at the exact same time, and they've got one toilet in the house between the three of them. So their piss breaks take an extortionate amount of time to go through. But there you go. There's more information than you probably wanted to hear. More information than they probably wanted on the stream. Let's ignore that. Head into basement. Consulate here. Geronimo, you have noticed the sides are swapped around. Rehosts are funny and difficult at the moment, so I'm just swapping the players either sides to make things easier. Scoreboard has, of course, been reset, but if you weren't here for the previous half, well, 16 character limit got a flawless defensive start to the game. 6-0, 6-0. Ember and Ghoulie have some great plays. Speaking of which, the latter, almost a 1 versus 4 clutch in the previous round there. Couldn't quite do it in time. Cocktail Shrimp was able to hold on for them and got Geronimo their first round. Question is it one of many to come, or is it going to be a final breath?
Defenders, protect your
Let things go. Wait and see. Yeah. Either way, now to the basement for the defensive side of Geronimo. Lineup wise, well, looking fairly default for the bottom floor here. Obviously, the biggest thing is going to be that Arcade has survived the ban phase this time, so Geronimo are going to be able to have a bit of an easier time holding on to these balls, hiding these electro claws around, and especially with Avery playing on the Mozzie, going to be a job here. Denying any information, any drones feeding through, and oh, I love that electro claw there. Difficult one to shoot out, gets both the walls. Great throw from Wingdings there as prep phase starts away, and 16 character limit, they have got the read on through. Nathan swapped on towards the fuse there, going to be looking to go. And Brian pops some cluster charges from the vertical, as that seems to be the game plan right now for the side of 16 character limit. Well, find the opponent's intel there. Gonna actually be getting to shoot at a default cam, but they've got to, before they can work on this vertical, they've got to clear out this presence up above first. You're going to have King playing on the Maestro. More concerningly, you're going to have Alfie on the Oryx. Look at this disgusting little hatch angle. I believe it has been droned out, has been spotted. Going to be seeing the feed of Ember there, trying to do a little bit of damage, but they have the commitment to make the mop up or not. Throw frag is going to miss. Ember's going to look to get a little bit closer here. Takes eye off the ball for a second, and that's when Alfie strikes there. Shuts down the captain of 16 character limit. And now can just run away back to site safely there. Beautiful start, dream start here for the defense of Geronimo. And it gets even better there as Wingdings is able to find one. Nathan's trying to scrap up the pieces there. Does eventually down the Kaid, but damage has been done. Player down, low HP on their back pocket, and well, 3 versus 4. Early on into the round, a bit spread out right now from 16 character. Nathan realising the situation, retreating on away. And eventually claimed up there by Avery as Vultures, they come out for their prey. 2 versus 4 situation right now for the side of 16 character limit. Half the round to play for, plenty of time. But Consulate defense is proving way too strong right now, and Geronimo hold on to this game for a little while longer. Had a brief little chat with them in between the tech balls there, just checking everyone was all right, and to tell them we were not rehosting this just to play 1 round and have 16 character close out the game, and unless something disastrous happens, it seems warnings will have been listened to. We will indeed be getting another round in this one. We will be going that little bit longer, that little bit on the distance. Almost able to catch the clash off the back there, but are they aware of Alfie? No, they're not. Shuts it down. There goes Margie. Now, it's all up to Ghoulie. 1 versus 4. Couldn't put it off last time, and in an arguably worse position to do it again here. Round number 8. No choice. Drops the hatch. But immediately spotted out by the default camera. To be given away here. Free fires on towards King. Can't quite hit the shots. Bit of recoil, a little bit windy, but caught in the cross there. Geronimo, it's their name on this round here. Cemented in, and starting to claw things back. 6-2. Round goes their favour. 1 more, but here comes the hurdle. And this is the one for me where I think we look at these comeback games. We start to look at these seasons. And now a question of Is it going to be a comeback or not? Is it going to be... Got the tertiary bomb site now. We're going to be going towards piano. Not seeing split at all so far this map, and it seems to be continuing on that way. Are we going to be seeing a comeback? Because this is the hardest site to defend. Piano is the tertiary for a reason. It's the least preferred for a reason. It is the weakest of the three. Basement and top floor are arguably the stronger ones. It's the favoured by these two sides. This is the round that solidifies, is Geronimo starting to make a comeback or not? Are things starting to slip away for 16 character? Arguably, a lot of the success for Geronimo has been off of the back of that clash, and I can almost guarantee you, should this one go beyond this 9th round, Cocktail is very likely to be on the receiving end of a target ban there, because this clash has been nothing short of terrifying so far, and, well, banning her out would be a good adaptation there from the side of 16 character, and from them feeding intel before, one, they're very likely to want. But, as if buts maybes, focus on the round ahead as they head towards the piano. King straight on towards that maestro there. Very powerful on this objective just because the long angles, a lot of coverage. Ground can be watched by a single evil eye. A lot of plants to be denied. All intel fed towards the objective, and maybe stopping them from getting in is the game plan from Geronimo. Surya gates are going to be activated. A lot of stoppage here. Avery takes control of the drones, going to be using them. Mozzie on through, but 16 character limit. I think they've said enough is enough. Remembering to take out the default cams this time, and also going to be up the double shield lineup. Blackbeard and a Montaigne. Yard, a Nomad, and a Jackal as well. Screaming aggression, and well, right now, the side of 16 character. What is the game plan? Going up top to clear on down, or are you just going to go indirect towards the objective itself? Well, Ember, at least, seems to want to go for the former of the two, but going to be challenged up with a gunfight up against Alfie yet again. Going to be denying things this time with those air jabs. Caution, have a little bit of cautious here as Willie's taking some damage quite early on. Frag grenade's going to be thrown up above here. Will indeed be thrown on him. Going to take down the barbed wire, but Evil Eye does indeed remain on up. And character, a bit of a stall out by this top floor right now. Ember is aware as well that Alfie is running about, and that is the concern. Air jabs are going to be placed to try and really make sure that no one is able to touch away on the flank there. Alfie is going to be kept in check as down towards the bottom floor does indeed happen, and rotation for 16 characters. They might want to make their entry on through. But still dancing with these evil eyes. Having a hard time, King. Have some fun with the players right now. Alfie. Word of movement here up on the top floor in towards catering. Surya gate's going to be burnt now. Shield's going to be facing up with one against the other, but they need to not get over aggressive here because while Rain is in a tough spot, Dooley comes in from behind. This is the issue. You're in a sandwich right now if you're Geronimo. You're cornered on in. There's players either side of you, and you need to make sure that Maestro stays alive to have the maximum effect in this round. Alfie has come down to try and play some action in towards this round here. Ember's just chasing ghosts upstairs. Could come down to try and support the team right now, and will be needed to do so. A lot of damage going to be fed on through as a momentary fallback from 16 character. But they need to be careful because Alfie's on a prone angle, but it's not even going to be that. It's going to be the Evil Eye. Eventually chips away enough that the Blackbeard takes them offline. Surya Gate does the inverse, goes back online instead. Powered back up, and that's the cue for Alfie to spring into action here, looking to get aggressive. Pulls up an even more aggressive long angle being held, and if 16 character aren't aware of this one, they could be held and could be punished for it. Cocktail continuing to hold the line on the clash there, really burning it out. And look at the clock, look at the top of the screen, 30 seconds left to go. Air jab's going to be gone, but I don't think it's quite going to hit the mark. 16 character, they need to try something else, need to try it quickly because continuing to feed this clash is exactly what Geronimo want, and Alfie, he's ready to swing at a moment's notice, cause some problems. Raindo is able to find him in time, but look at the clock, look at the top of the screen. There's nothing the 16 character can do right now. It's too little, too late. Ember is eventually going to catch out Alfie here, but they need to charge in, need to stick this defuse now, but they can't even get into sight because this clash is just in their way, charging on through. King lights them up with the LMG, and Geronimo, they keep the game on going here. Bringing it through as the frustration reigns in for 16 character limits. I think there's no choice but to ban the clash out here. I think this is going to be a clash ban, and there will be. I can almost guarantee this one. If the clash, if they immediately get thrall rolled on this round. If Geronimo lose this quite badly without the clash on the board, there's going to be some talks of clutch. Either way, I think funny time is over now for the side of 16 character. They are going to be hopping off the Nomad, of courtesy of a nice ban coming in from Geronimo. Cocktail making themselves known in chat, proving that they have been the one causing the nuisance. Nomad and a clash ban. Get on in. It's just the defender sided, because this is the thing. We can quite often see it with teams at this level and in the Showdown Series. Defense gets quite a buff, especially on these newer maps, because not knows how to attack them too well. Not to say 16 character limit aren't versed. They do have some players that do know this map quite well, but not everyone does. And a little lack of punching power, obviously since the rehost. Problem, 3 kills across 2 rounds played. It is not ideal, but obviously Clash taken off the board, the defensive metrics have shaken, and the previous round was telling this one's going to be ever more so here. Geronimo now starting to build themselves back up. Well, 15 seconds left to go. Prep phase. Back to the top floor for Geronimo. This is the strong side as well. This is the important one. This is where it is going to be a very interesting game. It's going to be a very fun one. Right now. Ooh. This is disgusting from Alfie. I like this. I like this a lot. Visa entry has been quite popular so far. Read's been made in, but it actually seems like this time around not going to be the way. And, well, Margie taking down the Terror, taking down the Maestro. More importantly, is the LMG shut down, but also those Evil Eyes. I think we might have to exclude that one. She's hacking. Not allowed. Illegal play. Either way, Geronimo, much better start here to this 4th attacking round. Get the first pick. Try and make it happen. 4 remaining players of Geronimo spread out throughout this entire top floor as 16 character limit. They're just poking and prodding right now. They're not going for an aggressive play at the moment, which I do quite like to see. They're instead just kind of finding and assessing options here. Brava's hacking on through as well, causing a massive problem against that Maestro. Good adaptive pick seen here yet again from 16 character. They can push into, get up nice and close. Cautious of anyone below, but there's not going to be one. Rain, are you aware of the 2 on your right? Because you're going to shoot, you're going to give the game away. You're going to see the tracers, no likely. You're going to know there's players there. You're going to swing, you're going to find it. You're going to get 1 and possibly the 2nd as well. Yes, you will. And that is the round and possibly the game with it as well. Unless Wingdings can pull up a massive clutch here. Here's the player planting, but not going to swing. A moment of hesitation. Too little, too late. But can just try and look to stick it. But with the sole player remaining, as Nathan claims the other Ghoulies going to swing in, but not able to quite find it here. Wingdings tucked in the corner. It's a tough spot, but here comes Ember on the rappel. Should be able to find this pick nice and easy. Yes, he will. And with it, it's going to be 16 character limit. Take the game. It took a little while and longer than anticipated for them, but 7-3 scoreline, not bad at all. And they'll be more than happy with that one there as they move on through, get their first points on the board. And they have another game line up ahead for them. Unfortunately, that one will not be played on stream, just due to the lateness, due to the time. But regardless of, a great game here from both sides. 16 character limit, a phenomenal job, a much better showing from them. Still a little bit of work to do on the attacks, tidying things up. And for Geronimo, there's signs of promise as well. But at the end of the day, game has been won, game has been done. 7-3. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And it is, of course, going to be 16 character limit going to be our champion. 0-2 no more. They're going to be 1 and 2. Unfortunately, I'm a one-man band, casting, producing, observing as well. Yeah, I can't update the graphics live. I'm not quite that good at it. So you're just going to have to pretend that said 1 and 2. Either way, 16 character limit, a very well done shown from them. A great game. And that is going to be everything we've had for you folks tonight. But do not fret, do not pray, because there's another game going to be coming your way tomorrow, exact same time, same place. So follow the channel, check out the website. There's plenty more to come, and it's just the start of the Showdown Summer Series. But regardless of, I want to thank you all very much for watching. Take care, have a wonderful rest of your night, and we'll see you all tomorrow.